Everybody, happy Friday. I'm BobbyFi. I'm going to be talking about my top 5 plays in 5 minutes. Hopefully, we're going to end this week strong. Hasn't been our best week yet ever, so let's try and end it on a high note. Here we go. All right, let's make this a little bigger so everybody can see it, and we're going to go from here. So basically, there's a lot of really good plays on the slate tonight. These are my favorites. I will mention some other ones as we go through. Before we get into each individual play, I think that the Toronto-Orlando game is a stackable game. I think the Minnesota OKC game is a stackable game. I think the Phoenix New York game is a stackable game. So mostly on the Phoenix side. Let's get into it right off the bat. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, phenomenal play on both sides. The usage has been out of control and unbelievable. People made a bunch of shots on their side the other night, and no one made any for Denver. So SGA didn't have quite the monster game that we had seen in the previous games. I really like him in this matchup, and I think that they can keep it close enough. And I think that SGA could have another 60-plus fantasy point night. Malachi Flynn, I have no problem with the fact that he didn't have a big night last night. I think he is an awesome play again. 3,900 is hard to resist, and I put Beasley in the same conversation. You could include Shamet in that. I have Shamet down with the Suns guys, but these guys are all interesting value. Beasley's very shooting reliant, so at his ownership, maybe it's an interesting fade. Malachi Flynn can just struggle, and the usage could go elsewhere. But at the same time, I think I prefer Flynn between the two as of right now. The Phoenix Suns are getting overlooked on this slate, and I'm not entirely sure why. I know the matchup's not ideal, but you have to throw away the game against Portland the other night because they won by 30, so all the minutes and everything were mixed up. But Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, in that order are my favorites, and the same is true on FanDuel. I just didn't happen to write them all out on FanDuel because I do think Bridges at his price is a little bit of a better play over there at 5,400. But I really like all three of them, and I don't care that Bridges didn't start last time. I'm going to be all over that situation, and I will consider Barrett and Randall for runbacks. Campaign, Shamet, and Holiday, the same game. I think in that order, that would be my favorites. Holiday is going to be the unowned one, and I think that it's interesting to note he had the best game of all the other night. I know we sort of want to throw that one away, but his run could, be similar to what Payne is going to get tonight, as they are really the only two direct ball handlers. So I think he's an interesting pivot off of what will be Payne and Shamet ownership. But I really like all three of them, and that's just how I have it graded right now. Bobby Portis revenge, we got to do it. There's certain things that we don't ignore. Starters, if DeMarcus Cousins is ever starting at any price back in Sacramento, we want to play him. If Bobby Portis gets minutes against the Chicago Bulls in Chicago, something we want to take advantage of. Love Bobby Portis tonight. Don't think we're going to have a crazy amount of ownership on him, and I think he's a phenomenal play. The problem is you also have DeAndre Ayton at a similar price. I'm finding that I'm using Ayton a little bit more on FanDuel. Now, I like Ayton a ton on DraftKings. I'm just going a little bit of a different direction. So I really like Portis, and I also mentioned Scotty Barnes in there. I think Scotty Barnes is the preferred Raptor on DraftKings. Don't mind Trent or Siakam also, along with Flynn. But I really think that Barnes is the best on DraftKings, and I think on FanDuel, Siakam is the best of those plays. I didn't mention a lot of the Minnesota guys, but one of Cat or Russell should have a big night. I like Cat a little bit better. His price is more affordable on FanDuel, which is why he's in my top 5 over there. I also have SGA on both sites. As I already mentioned, I like the run back there. And Siakam, for obvious reasons, 8,100. I understand he's let some people down. Hopefully that keeps his ownership a little lower than it should be. Still love him in this spot. And I think he could have a monster game, even though he hasn't quite gotten there for us in a massive way at 8,100. I feel like the 50, 60 plus upside is hard for me to resist on FanDuel. DeAndre Ayton, as I mentioned, going to play more over on FanDuel. Same with Mikal Bridges. Probably play a little more Johnson on DraftKings and mix in some Crowder. But those are two priorities for me. Again, the only thing I didn't really mention on this is that I like the runbacks if you're going to play the Toronto guys in order, especially depending on what happens with Wendell Carter. I have it Suggs, Wagner, Bamba, Cole Anthony. I do like Cole Anthony better on FanDuel at 5,700. So that's where I'm at. Guys, let's crush it tonight. I'll be in Discord. I'll be live at 5:45 Eastern time. Let's make some money. Let's turn this week around and end on a strong note. Good luck to everybody out there, and let's make some money, y'all. Good luck, everybody.